Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about, as usual, about Bitcoin and Ethereum. So today is as day 14. We have been discussing about Bitcoin and Ethereum. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about, as usual, we're going to talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum. We've been talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum, specifically about Bitcoin and Ethereum. We've been discussing about this about 14 days. So today is, as usual, we're gonna discuss how and how the chart is going on. So let's get ahead into the chart, into the news. So first of all, you can see right here there's a lot of prices changing. Prices as always not stable. So first of all, take a look this one chain Bitcoin. So a Bitcoin, there is a Bitcoin supply and just coin day destroy, and I have into more detail about exactly how this is calculated in previous live. So the channel, basically a lot of Bitcoin is moved all at once on chain, that we could see a spike in this indicator, or if a decent amount of Bitcoin that hasn't moved in many years all of a sudden move at once, then that can also cause a large spike in this indicator. And what's very interesting is usually when we see a large spike in this just coin day, so the storing indicator in this line right here that usually happen just before a volatile move in the price of Bitcoin often happen at turning point in the price. What very interesting is over the last few couples of years, every time where we have seen a spike in this indicator, even during the 2022 bear market, this usually happen after we have seen a bunch of bearish price action, and just we are about to see even more bullish price action. Because for example, if you're taking a look to the this massive spike we saw, so obviously that was just before we kick-started the major bull run in late 2020, entering early 2021. So then obviously we save a dump during like May 2021, around July 2021. We saw another spike in the indicator. So just after we bottomed out for the crash, and obviously started the next major leg. So after we the upside, and then obviously we entered into the 2022 bear market. Even during the bear market, of course, like we had time period where we did see some shorter term bullish price action. For example, in 2022, that has mostly a bullish quarter, the spike in occurring with a larger bear market. Right now, at the beginning of the bullish movement, right in the 2022, obviously we saw a massive spike in this indicator. So similar to around June, once again, they were still technically within the larger bear market, but we did see some bullish price action over the next couple of months after we see a spike in this indicator. By the way, I'm only looking at the spike in this indicator that occur with a value above 3, And so if you're looking at the next spike in this indicator with a value above 3 that happened during the November 2022, right? At the bear market bottom, and so obviously in the following month we saw a lot more bullish price action after that signal, and then the next time this signal flash was during the end of March, entering into the early April. So this year, and if you're looking at the Bitcoin prices during the time, by the way, this is haven't figured out pricing during this time of signal flashing. We were in a bit of sideways consolidation, but not longer after this signal flash. We actually saw one more decent pump to the upside before later and seeing a bit more correction. And so once again, right now, as of this during this slide, we're seeing the same signal flash again with a value above 3, just all of these other times. And so historically speaking, this means we're likely going to see potentially more bullish movement in the month or so, but important to understand that this is not a short-term signal, so this does not guarantee that we're going to see bullish price action over the next 24 hours, for example. And instead, it is most talking about much larger move in the market. And now, just before getting into some other important Bitcoin, you can see right there is a lot happening in the chart. So if you want to try some investing or trading, you can also try in 2SK platform. Getting into the Bitcoin chart, once again, at the 1-day time frame, we are still technically within this larger bullish. And trend considering nothing that much has changed on this chart over the last 1 day if you're new to watch the other live I have. So if you want to know more about this chart right here, but anyway, zooming into the daily Bitcoin chart, obviously right now the price of Bitcoin is still technically playing out a bit of a rejection from this important resistance, and on top of that we still have a active bearish divergence currently playing out. And so once again, as I have been saying almost every day over the last almost 2 weeks, basically mean we shouldn't not really be expecting a lot of bullish momentum, at least in the shorter term here on the instead due to the either some choppy sideways price action or a bit more slight to pull back. When you're talking about the shorter term, once again, this is all currently occurring within a much larger bullish trend. And as for the daily Bitcoin MAC, technically speaking, this is still currently looking more bearish than bullish. So, but with that being said, it is not currently showing a lot of momentum, which basically means we don't actually have a strong direction here on chart. So we're likely going to see a relatively mild price action, nothing too significant. And now, if you zoom into the smaller time frame, in 4-hour time frame, a Bitcoin chart right now, the price of Bitcoin is still playing out a bit or a count. So from this level on the support, which is sitting at around 28.9k. So, but in this bound continue, we don't have a resistance. $30,000, and we have actually broke back above 28.9k. Then in that case, we have that 50 retracement level acting as a support at around $28,000 to 28.1k, and below that level with a golden pocket sitting. So in between around 27,000 and 27.2k. So now if you zoom into the chart, the Bitcoin chart, technically speaking, this previous bear flag pattern, it is still currently active with a price target sitting around 28,500. But important to understand that between the current price at the time of record during this live and the technically price target, so that is obviously that level or around 8.9k, and also if this shorter term suppose continue back above this sitting at around 29.7k, then in that case if we saw a break back above the level, will actually invalidate this previous bear flag pattern and invalidate this bearish price target. And as for some other level of shorter term resistance, we could find a bit of resistance at around 29.7k level, and above that, if we actually invalidate this pattern, we could still find some resistance, right? So around here, sitting at about 30.3, 30.3k. So if you zoom into the 1 hour Bitcoin chart, during this slide, the price of Bitcoin is currently forming in a possible symmetrically triangle pattern of right now on multiple higher lows on the 1 hour chart, with also confirming a lower level. So obviously Bitcoin essentially entering into a converging range in tightening range, which will eventually lead to a breakout, obviously either this support level or this resistance level. And in case you are wondering, this level of support is sitting at around 9.1k, and this level of resistance is sitting at around 29.4 to 29.5k. So basically, if we end up seeing a confirmed breakout above the level of resistance, then that would be set up a technical price target at around 29.9k. So nearly 30,000. But the flip side, if we see a confirmed break below that level on support, that will set up a technical price target at around 28.7k approximately. So either way, we are looking at a possible 2% move on that chart approximately. But once again, it is important to understand that right now, once of those technical price targets are currently in play, we first need to see a confirmed break either below this support or above this resistance in order to confirm that the next direction have here in the shorter term. So until then, we are still looking at relatively neutral with very low momentum, once again just in the shorter term here. But anyway, now getting into the Ethereum, the part of this live is the on the daily ETH, your solar chart. Right now it is frequent. In this live, the price is still trading above. So sitting in between 70 and 80.20. As for the daily Ethereum price oscillator, these are still looking very neutral, showing a very low momentum, at least in the short term. So once again, as I've been saying recently on the channel, you guys might remember if you watch this live every day. We're going to see a relatively mild price action, most likely some choppy sideways price action, and we don't see have a strong 10 base on the price oscillator. So now if you zoom into the 1 day chart, right now the price of it is still trading below this previous ascending. So which is currently sitting at around 90 and 10. So just keep in mind. Short term bounce expecting resistance on 90.20 and 19.10. Now on the 1 day time frame, looking at the chronic level, we do have a bit of short term. So sitting at around 80.70 to 80.80, but if we saw a confirmed breakout back above 80.80, then once again we also have that resistance at around 19 and 10. And above that, we also have resistance at around 1930. But if this short-term pullback continued, then the level of support we should be watching, or first of all, is 50 retracement level sitting at around 80.30. But if we saw a break below that level, then we have the important golden pocket area of support in between around 70.60 to 70.70. And now, if you zoom into the max shorter term, taking a look to the chart right now, the price of Ethereum is forming symmetrically triangle pattern just like Bitcoin, but for the price of Ethereum, we do actually have more significant line on the resistance because we have many more touch points along this line resistance. So you're wondering, this line of resistance is sitting at around 80.72 and 80.80, right, where the Fibonacci level is sitting at this line of support is currently sitting at around 1860. So obviously the price of Ether is trading in a very tight range. Right now, in fact, we continue in this pattern. We only have 1 to 2 days to go before the price of each will essentially be forced to either break resistance or break support. And if we see a confirm breakout above that level of resistance that I just mentioned, that will set up a technical price target at around 1930 to 1940. But on the flip side, if we confirm a break below that level on support, I will confirm a technical price target close to 1.8k. So either way, we are looking at around a 3% move, and the price of each will first either confirm a break below this support or above this resistance. Now, if you want to know how to maximize your profit in crypto, no matter if the breakout to the upside, to the downside, or simply choppy, so we're gonna go talk about back to the Bitcoin again. So you can see that in Bitcoin, the side that direction is probable, starting with the first median frame bearish impulse. We're looking at for an downside where we see in this impulse structure after this wave. So took that origin of wave A and then A3, a 5-way structure, the first 5-way structure, being diagonal in 3-wave zigzag of A, B, C, and wave are looking for a downside to the N, wave phi, and C for the particular scenario. For wave 2, the Fibonacci are a little bit different than the regular wave in the normal impulse structure. In the diagonal, the most common way to target is between the golden pocket and the 8786 with the of being rare target. So taken from the high to the low of wave 1 point. In this particular scenario, to the downside, we then look for the support area over here, and the boxes are still between 26.8k. So, and you can see like at the 27.4k and 27.2k. So the remaining structure, particular scenario, however, it is at the time. If we look at the length of the wave and the length of wave B in this wave C, so it is much longer in time also. If one would put over here, then this is still incredibly long in time compared to much a shorter wave and shorter base. So And in the second scenario, we are looking for a bigger ABC to downside. Then also expanding a flat, but we are then looking for a 33 and a 5 wave move going below and 24K in scenario. The most common target area of C is between the two 1.618. It is sitting between 23.5K and 22K, and this then finished at the height that we have at the moment. After this wave has an expanding flat in the wave move, the remain issue here, however, is that the wave 4 is very long in the time 11, time longer than wave 2 or 4 times longer than wave 3. That is incredibly long for a wave for a compression, especially with this wave. And also we are then now looking for an impulse to downside and bigger and positive in the wave C. Now if we go to the lower time frame, at the moment it doesn't yet look too impulsive, and the downside could be a wave 1. So then the 2 and potentially 1 or 2, but this second wave 2 is now already rivaling at the time the first wave 2 already starting to become a longer in time. Now meaning that this being a lower degree wave 2 over 1 or 2 or 1 and then a bigger 3. So take longer than the first degree wave, which is not what you want to see, and lower the probability for this to be an impulsive structure to the downside all the way to the level below 24K. If you go to the more bullish scenario over here, and we are looking for a move toward the upside in this scenario, wave or it is finished, and also a wave 3 of ABC is already finished within a wave C. So then a move to the downside, which is 5-wave structure over here. On the lower time frame is this scenario wave C then ended at this, meaning that it is the lower of wave 2 or wave B with a fib taken from the low to the high of also a higher common target for B, but a rare target for wave 2, meaning that if one would get an impulse to the upside, right? Now the probability are the moment higher for that to be a wave C to the upside instead of potentially wave 3 to the frame. It doesn't really look too bullish yet. You can also compare previous price action. Look at the impulse we have over here, and look at this sideways structure. It doesn't really look the same in this move over here, and this is only 1 and this is 2, and we are now looking for a bigger 3 to the upside. Or for example, you want to see impulsive structure, usually wave 3 is the most impulsive strongest wave, so you definitely want to see price moving to the upside impulsively, but at the moment that doesn't really look very impulsive, right? On the lower time frame, this is bearish scenario over here. It is a wavy and scenario proposed by John and the group as well, where then have a WX and then the ABC to the downside. In a where for this wave C, we could be looking for a bit of an ending diagonal, and this is definitely still on the cardinal invalidity, where we then look for the 2 or 3 or 5 in this scenario. I thought if this is lower of wave 1, I did close up price action with wave 4. That is not something you like to see. One might have to count. This is a little bit different, where potentially this is the wave wave B over here, and this is only wave 1. Eventually another 5 to the downside, that's up to a grab, at least is definitely at the scenario at the lower price, then where again the area support areas are down. here are going to be a very interesting because there is just not much support left in this area. The final support basically at around 29.29k also support this bounce. You can see over here, which is basically the final order of block 6. So the currently that where price is finding support together with some of the other conference, we had around 29k. But then below this area you can see it is quite gap to the downside. So if the price is going to take this low and up being this order block and 5 closure below here as well, it is quite likely we're just going to move straight to the lower price over here where we then have the support box, right? So that is very interesting support box that I definitely keep my eyes on price. It is going to move to the downside, and it is a particular scenario which is really interesting. We are then looking for wave 1 to 8 to be a finish over here, and then this is to be a 1 or 2 or 3 sideways, or if it needs a 4 or 5. Now keep in mind where this impulse to the upside, it is explained in another scenario. This is 1 over here, and this wave 4 is very long compared to a wave 2, which is not really something you like to see. Then put on top of this high over here, and then zigzag to the downside, ABC followed by X, and then eventually AY to the downside minimum target. So usually for a wave 8 is the 382, which is sitting at around 30k. For a sit, it is maximum target at around 31k. If we look at the resistance area above price at the moment, what is quite interesting, it is well first of all. So that's not too special, but this one over here is in third high and a third high here, top over here, and that is definitely some liquidity resting above this area. And if we go to the higher price, then we have another support area over here at around 31k, sitting between 31.1 and 31.3. So those are the resistance area for price, but then eventually another move toward the downside to the finish of wave 2 or finish of wave B. However, as of stand up, putting the wave or 1 or top of this high, it is not at the moment something that I prefer. I prefer move a way higher or finish up here. We're looking for a 3-way stretcher, and as a piece to the start, quite unlikely at the moment. Meaning scenario like this where have a 3 or 3 and 5 wave, the downside clearly more gearing to zigzag scenario. So we're looking at the price action locally as explained, as well looking at the difference that we have also in the micro count and very low time frame. So I show it in some other live currently in probability at a bit higher for a new low to be made. It doesn't really matter if price move up and then, but at least this is low to be a take eventually. If we look at the resistance, that we are higher above at the moment. This is important support resistance, very simple over here, and simple support for a while, and now resistance. If you can pass the higher resistance, we can look for a higher price. So to look for the triple, we have around 30k over here. In our resistance at around 31k, this is a folder that have with a higher highs and low, which I think is sometimes important to have because it shows the liquidity. So before price move down, we have a 4 low to the bottom, which is interesting. The price is grabbed of the liquidity below, and now it is ranging right around this level, but above over here the triple top, so the liquidity on the downside has been taken. Question is, will it hunt for the liquidity to the upside before potentially constitution to the downside if we look at the CVD divergence or the lower time frame? As a bit mix, as you can see, we have the bearish CVD divergence over here. Now this is a second bearish CVD divergence at the first one. So between this higher high and now we have the with the same high, another one each divergence you get with the same high. So get it is becomes a lower probability divergence because the first one over here already played out at this lower got taken by price. So that one play out and then price come back again to create a second lower probability, but doesn't mean it is not possible, right? In this scenario, more locally, we have the divergence. We have a bullish CVD here, more bullish DVD. It also better and divergence. And the thing is, the price here moved down on volume. As you can see over here, we have some volume going toward the upside, but also a bit of volume when the price was moving to the downside. So we do keep in the mind potentially, especially with this, the first one that appear on the chart, but what is more important is potentially behavior in that we have more bearish locally divergence right here. I missed right. We got this once over here and over here. Its weekend price is ranging, not too much. Volume it is not too great. Looking at the CVD at the moment, we do have a bit of double top at the higher height. We don't have to look like much support resistance. So we have here has already been tested. We still have some support to the downside. Could be interesting because 29k and 29.15. So if price will move down, that is an area I will be looking for more locally. If we look at the CVD, then it is a bit more a mix, and yeah, it is not too clear what it want to do there. So and bearish, so one could say, well, that bullish one might more prefer, but then again we also have the bearish. Probability we can make it quite simple, right? Of a median time frame, which is the time frame we spoke above in this slide, preferably or at least the probability are great toward 1. You can look to the imposite. Yes, price can move to the upside. Great. So I'll find that it is standing on one more low. So this is about the Bitcoin chart. How is it going? So we're going to talk about next is, let's go to the Ethereum. Ethereum, you can see right here, the market is not stable. So in action, this you go into Ethereum chart. With Ethereum going up a little, it is not going to anything. It's invaliding pattern. It doesn't give us it clearly. It doesn't give us anything bottom. So bottom signal, few things to talk about in this. Yeah, the late night update here. We have 5 wave up into the wave 1 or walking on 3 wave down in the wave 2 at the moment price of FD has already dropped on this wing. So on July, consider into a support. We are waiting for a sign that the lower is okay. At the moment, I don't know this sign or signal, and indeed, primarily I would expect price to go a little lower, and if it goes up from here, fair enough. A few people see to be a concern it could already go up. Well, I don't really believe at this stage it will already goes up. But of course, it can and going up from here a third wave rally. It is exactly what we expect. Okay, essentially, and maybe that sometimes isn't really coming. This live we have been doing this recent day downside. We're talking about the Ethereum. So potentially on the frame, that's still the expectation we see is signal that rally starting. Bear in mind, into a target area back then, then we already have a fairly incomplete looking corrective structure that reach out our target area for the 2. So if it had to go on any lower and wouldn't have started to scale in already, okay? So from that point overview, whatever they reach the support area, it can rally, okay? So I can go there to get a third wave at some point. The near future to 5000, 2500 plus, and as you know as you typically when these rallies happen, especially after weeks and weeks of volatility, consolidation, and these radius can be very quick and fast and rapid, and a lot of people will chase just when they chase. Want to get a position that when we start to see a very boring wave, for that thing is overall, then we will be bottom to the wave 4. So because it has been so boring, and then wave 5, what is happening? So it worked. Yeah, the idea is look from here. It is has a fulfill our main on primary scenario. That chart is done over the last few weeks. Who want to do 5 wave move up, and we have put back into the support. The micro count, as you know, can morph and chart change easily because we're likely working on ending diagonal. So the micro count can change. You get a fewer destination. We may have to make some changes to the micro level and primarily. I don't expect that lowers already and still expect in the short term at least 1 or 2. But I know how this market works, right? And this is why I started to scale. This is why I started I have seen comments in how everybody apparently expecting is lower low, so okay, and including myself, because the price action just simply doesn't suggest anything different. However, you need to context such that this is set up here. would allow Ethereum go to 2005 plex. So while everything is expecting lower lows in the short term and over self, us included, we are very much open to the idea because the Fibonacci level and elite wave is giving us the level, and we have already entered that area, and that area is between 80.75 to 70.30, and we have already come down to 80.35. Now primarily because any lack will know, because any clear evidence really and the price has bottomed already, I still look at further downside, and also because I want to see the wave 2 typically reach the 50 retracement at least. And yeah, to be honest, I missed it by just sort of the 8 to 8 to $10, but it missed it all, so I will still like to see the clear wave 2 in the which price form, and one more low at least, maybe not, maybe 2, but 1 will be great. And from there we can only take off. We could already go on from here, but I just don't have the key evidence. As I said, there are 2 possibilities. Either you are scaling into this area if you want to trade the next wave, either you're scaling into this support area, which is certain amount of what you want to invest, okay? You can always add to your trade once and turning at around the type stop, or you're waiting for confirmation that the turnaround is happening. Then you have to wait for 5 wave up, 3 wave down. The problem is one more higher, like 5 wave up, right, it can already have moved maybe 10%. So that's sort of how they work, okay? So just be aware of that. But there isn't really any more clarity lower time. If I think wave 5 will move within a C wave, we are at 3rd wave, and yeah, so we are just waiting it to come down lower, and this is not yet anything to the upside. It is not even in a diagonal upside. They're not even in diagonal. It is very clearly only a 3 wave move, or yeah. So look, we get a 3 wave pullback, and then maybe we have our first setup, but until then, no change at all. Very boring. Yeah, I think for me also nothing changed on this chart until we break above resistance 80.88. Even if we got above that level, there will be any formal invalidation until we break above 90.06. Okay, that's my update about Ethereum for now. So this is about Ethereum, how the price is working on. So back to the Bitcoin. We're going to discuss about the Bitcoin. So let's go talk about Bitcoin. Yeah. there isn't really much going on. We can do a bit of deep dive into the current micro count, and I think a few down would be an interest that more micro we got it. It doesn't necessarily mean we got more accurate, and it doesn't mean we got more clearly about the current structure. Unfortunately, I did just very quick recap about we could get if you knew. So feel free to also check out my previous slide. So long-term chart for Bitcoin, so you can always check in on that one. But and overall, the idea we had a 5-way move up here into the 13 on July. From somewhere here in the box, we should see a rally in third wave stock condition. Is that the 78.6 Fibonacci retracement level? It is holding. This is the level at 26,000, 28,200 and 280. As long as we're holding that support level, the focus can be on higher. The move down, it is currently corrected choppy. That is what we want to see in such a correction, but it is really boring. I mean really since John, in the middle of June, we haven't seen anything other than a choppy sideways action. Yes, it is starting to roll over. Finally, that's what we want to see, but it doesn't really give us a lot of excitement at the moment. So primarily the idea is still the price is coming down lower, and then we have this ABC structure. We basically now in the C wave where it will be a ending diagonal. I have got certain target projection going into the region at around 50 retracement area, but to 28.3K, that is certainly one possible target. Another one to the end, this is wave would be around 27,000 to 460. That's the golden ratio. Now there are the few wave or calculating target. Here on the example, I can take the length of the wave 3. Go to the height of the B wave to measure the length of the C wave, and it take me to 28 to 19 or very close to the previously mentioned level. So there is quite a bit of Fibonacci support confluence in that area at around 28.3 to 28K. So even if we might go a little lower eventually, the next wave down should be ideally go into that region. Now, what we want to talk about really is the micro count. I mean, idea was that maybe we're already coming down here in this third wave of curves. I mean, that is pretty much expectation that would complete a wave already. The B wave might have complete here, and the C wave is already unfolding. The C wave would need to be ending diagonal itself. This is where it is getting very messy, and it can be a lot of mental gymnastics for a lot of people who don't deal with elite wave on a daily basis to understand what it means that C wave on the third wave to the downside now, or just need to keep shifting this wave across, but it should eventually come down here farther in a third wave over a C, And a third way, but it is also possible that wave B here, which is still unfolding as an alleyway triangle. If it is doing it, that might come down shortly, as well. See, it wouldn't make a difference to the wave count. Anyway, it is more about an academic mind, which doesn't really matter. Trading is also doesn't make the chart clear, but please be aware that is one more scenario. But here, like triangle count, maybe D, or yeah, a bit unclear where this is going to end. But the E wave could be unfolding now, and the trigger to the downside, and we break down. Yeah, so it is either in my opinion, or we are already here on the way down. It just hasn't really followed through yet, and we have micro support for that around 29 or 100. So yeah, we got two possibilities how this can really be labeled, if the B wave as a triangle, or 1-2 has started, and some point you need to know that because they are extremely unreliable, so we don't normally get more clearly, but sometimes I get, as you know, when I one sort of thinking about two different scenarios, and yeah, couldn't you get a better answer if you just do more micro counting? And unfortunately, that that context is always the provide us with key information, and to be honest, I could give you here more than two than just simply two wave counts for this. Whenever we are moving in three-wave structure, just need to be expected. Count change to the more typically more than just one or two or scenario. So I'll call that work out the breakdown. We finally need a break below that micro support of 29. Yeah, unfortunately, there hasn't much more. I hope you like the update. If you did, please write a comment. So let's go back to the news. So almost daily, the trading. This is discounted is considerably 60% off. So further down, you can see you can see that on the downside, to give you a buy idea later on, probably that people that chance for it so well, you get that second chance. If you break 31 to 800, you are going to up at 540,000, but 45,000 period. This is the Bitcoin 4 hour. You have got a bullish cost of 21 to the 200, which the last 3 times has caused a huge upward move to the upside of Bitcoin. It is going to happen again. It is nothing for sure. Now you got a golden cross on the 3-day coming. So again, these are hit or miss. I don't really pay attention to that, but a lot of market that's buy and sell on this idea people program, but I feel like everybody in holding pattern waiting to see what block I'm going to do. I got a ton of news, BlackRock fans, and I mean, they have 60,000 inquire about buying Bitcoin. They're gonna push through. They're gonna do everything possible they can push through that Bitcoin support that happened on mission, right? Straight up, there's that factor, but you can't wait on the news. You can't trade the news. You have to trade the chart, right? And then make adjustment. What happened? Meantime, this is the plan. It is real simple. You know, the downside short everything, right? You are going to be come down here to about 25 and 800. If that break here, you double top or then you are coming down in the 20,000. Okay, so if that happen, it is still a lower high. So when it come like have plan, because this can all happen, you won't write them down right there in front of you. I just excuse that plan, stick to the plan, do not break the plan. So it happened then, this is happen to do this just like computer code, right? Break a 31,000 flip, and maybe you open with $10,000, then you got the bullish radius, you add another 10,000, do it if you want to trade Bitcoin. Otherwise, you load all coin. However, Bitcoin going to outperform the entire altcoin market when it finally does take off, right? So that is gonna have a lot to do with Bitcoin dominance, but people will form into Bitcoin, especially if Bitcoin Spot ETF below up. People are forming into Bitcoin, right? If some house regulation comes out and some of the other coins are commodities and United States can trade most of the coins when that are security are able to register with the SEC. So game changer, like it is about time, everything about to happen, and the Bitcoin having is coming and having run up happen period to that. So now we're going to go throughout some data first, like non-stop. If you just want to entry level dip your toe in the waterland. So we know comp about 245 riff. So below that on FDA, the SEC and this nonsense in the United States, which is going to get clear and around flip the weekly 200 SMA, and you're about to see a golden cross or the orange one day. So this is a bullish cross. This could lead Bitcoin at a lot higher if you do get some type of pullback. It just gave you a higher low to build on. Okay, so understand that this is a Bitcoin having a cycle. I don't know if people understand. So let's watch this. So recovery, this is where it ramped up to 20,000 crash bear market, started recovery, and then bull market ran from there. So $1,000 to $65,000, and then down to 15,000 year. We have even a purple area is running out and room recovery, and then we flip to the chart. So it's the flexible recovery. Flip that recovery flip. It's over. Yes, but we are getting closer. The most important thing I want you to see down here is the sort of, this is Morgan Stanley Wealth and Management Global. Investment office, they send this out all their customer. BlackRock got to talk about them. The BlackRock CEO told that the former bank of England gone over, and England gone over. You think, man, they have got a $10 trillion worth of assets under management. They have loaned the United States $1 trillion. But if you're the fourth branch of the government, people say you got a lot of pull. BlackRock say this big giant move every day. It is a thin market, can also evolve into the global market. Yes, but you need this spot in here to take a lot of volatility out of. It's a problem where Bitcoin, and I say the problem, I mean you make a lot of money on this run, but people downtrend, and you can do that also volatility. So the big picture is all these small Bitcoin ETF got approved in stock are going to take over Bitcoin. As far as trading, they are going to move the market, and it will create a solid baseline for this altcoin to finally take off. This Bitcoin dominance has gotten rejected, and spilling back, you do not want to see bounce of this support, or it is going up higher, and there is a very good chance that all coin take a hit base on this. So, but this is a support where rejection, it bounced about right here. Watch Bitcoin, because that is kind of the price of Bitcoin right now. So if you're a timer, this is your time. How you move on to Bitcoin. There's a new bill that just passed. Federal agency restricted private people from using convertible visual currency to purchase goods or service for the person all used to use an other purpose. The financial committee passed this bill protecting right to self-custody of Bitcoin and crypto. They are not going to be able to freaking know that was on your hardware. They are not going to be able to know and control. Possibly things about crypto privacy in their chart we talk about. I just wanted to show you how we will nail it. So we have there a divergence. We have three divergences here, and then the run was posted November and 22. And it's amazing thing. We all have our strength. here pick the bullish divergence, that is the indicator you can use. I can explain that to you a certain point, but at 65, he was looking for a move. He was looking for a idea I talked to you about yesterday after that move, right? Where you're eat about 50,000 and a bounce, you got 19,200 up, and we'll need it that Bitcoin halving is upcoming. What happened every time you see a Bitcoin halving up, Bitcoin halving up, ran up. So excited about what this market about to be, because yeah, even if you get a pullback, you just got better and tired. So once you trade Bitcoin on your coins, got a hit. You pick an altcoin at cheaper price, and then the fine most part, it is like you're not going to want to hold. So either way, that question was about the next bear market, okay? So what we have got here on this chart, this is the long time chart. So after that, the next bull market high, which I see at around 125, I'm sorry, or 115, so 115 to 175. I see a potential waveform, yeah, and this way forward, and it is not really done in a very I don't want to say accurate way, but the fit on here for the next retracement on yet there, because I can really only calculate a really target for this full weight once, and we have got the third weight done, but here it is the third weight, okay, which consist of the lower degree fit weight. Once that is done, probably come down in a fourth weight, and the weight sometime you get this fourth weight. So lower degree fold weight, so we might really talk about something at around 15K again. For the next bear market, there could be a really strong bear market. After that, the next time all-time high, okay, just want to mention that already now it is too early to confirm. If we first need to see how high do we really go up and everything, but it is certainly something to observe and focus on, because I had a question, when will the next bear market be? We'll see. I think the next bear market could happen after the next blue market, doesn't it? So after we reach that area between 50 to 75, but again, it's a bit too far, it is a bit too early to say. First of all, we need to see, do we really get in this rally already to the 1 and 1.5 to 1.7? So target after that, we deal with the question of the next bear market. Yeah, so but the question was, when could the next bear market be? Well, I can't really tell you time wise, but I should occur after the next 11.5 to the 75K target has been reached. But I'm looking at the lower time frame, because there also we need to get out of this bear market, right? We need to get out of the moment. Brutally boring sideways action, In my opinion, this is the quiet, bullish conclusion. Surely still go lower and expected. But anyway, we have a quiet few impulse to the upside. This is downside is also choppy. Actually, pretty good. It is pretty good to set up for a higher. I mean, you know that nothing is ever guaranteed in this market, but I don't see anything bearish about this is at this stage. Still on support break. So around 26,000 to 218, but yeah, plus minus a few dollars, and bear in mind there's also a trend line running through our support. Here the trend line month ago, so you can see that here the 4-hour chart, yeah, this is trend line, so I will pay attention that when as well if we go down that first of all we have to establish that we have our first fight move up the upside to the 13th of July, and we have our three-way move down. Someone said to me that my wave 1 is positioned the wrong way on the wrong position. Remember that because this was not a reliable way of 5 due to the various reasons. I decided not to place the wave 1 here, but instead to wait for another high. So because it doesn't matter, it doesn't make the chart any clearer. And what I can tell you is probably I stay in the third wave and what the wave 5 move, which be unfolding. Now eternally this B wave is actually unfolding as an idiot wave. The triangle and the C wave hasn't even started yet, but eventually what I'm looking for is this ideally target, so be reach around 28.3k. That's sort of the next sort of the low. Then the next project low for the C wave because they'll go lower. And I wouldn't actually primarily expect it to go lower eventually with this wave 4 and 5, maybe all the way down to at around about 27,000 to 460. But first of all, I did like to go lower around about 28.3k. Trend reversal or area. So if it goes up and it basically fulfill our expectation, but still, that is the moment, no evidence that is already has put in. Lasting low, so I still took a look at better. Before we got to the launch into the third wave rally to the around about 14k condition for all of this at the relevant support. It is holding at 26,000 to 28,000, and good thing about Alight is always tell us in every objective wave that where are we level and we need to hold to continue. So I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe if you really like the live. Then please check out other videos in my channel. Thanks a lot for watching my live. Thank you guys. Hope we gonna see you tomorrow again. Today we have been talking about Ethereum and Bitcoin, how the prices are changing. If you want to try or invest or trading, you can also check out the 2SK platform. You can do there. So thanks for watching.